Happy Tuesday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroy Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned on a No Amnesty Tuesday. That's right. No amnesty. No amnesty. No amnesty. Wonder what we're going to talk about today for the first half of the show. Probably something to do with no amnesty. A very disturbing rumor was put out by Charlie Kirk yesterday. And again, I'm going to specify that it is a rumor. There's been no talk of this from what I've heard other than Trump at his Des Moines, Iowa rally last week of this potential idea of yet again legislation that would offer a carve-out for farm workers and hotel workers and restaurant workers and hospitality workers if they are illegal aliens. But that legislation isn't where it stops. Apparently, according to Charlie Kirk, there are some higher-ups surrounding the administration that are trying to push Donald Trump in the direction of making an amnesty deal, which in no circumstances would I ever support. I'm sorry. On no circumstance. That was a
amnesty for the
illegal aliens.
Illegals?
Yeah.
Ugh.
No. That can't happen. No. That's not what anybody voted for. Now, do I ultimately think it's going to happen? I'm going to be honest with you, no. I don't think ultimately it's going to happen. However, the fact that it's being talked about is troubling, right? So, we're not going to freak out and be like, oh my gosh, amnesty is coming. What I am going to say, though, is I think I know where it's starting. And I think I know where it's coming from. And this is the usual suspect, the hag, disgrace, wicked witch that is the Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins. Sean, that's a little harsh. Don't call her those names. Well, you know what? She said people were grifters if they were upset with the guidance that was being issued to essentially give exemptions to illegal aliens working on farms and hospitality, restaurant, etc. No. I'm not going to be nice to that slime ball, Brooke Rollins, who is in bed with Big Ag. You know who they're not listening to right now? They're not listening to farmers who are doing it the right way. They're not listening to restaurant owners who are doing it the right way. They're not listening to restaurant workers and restaurant owners and hospitality hotel owners that are doing it the right way. So while I'm not freaking out and saying that this is definitely coming, I'm here today to tell you that that is my red line. And I think it's the red line for so many people. Molly Tibbetts was a U.S. citizen who was killed by an illegal alien who worked on a farm. So not all of them are angels either. No amnesty. No amnesty. None. It's not what anybody voted for. It came back to bite Reagan in the ass, and it'll come back to bite Trump in the ass if it happens. If it happens. Do I think it's going to happen? Ultimately, no. We'll go through some of the reasons why. We have that. We also have speaking of, and another reason why I don't think we're going to have to see amnesty. We just got $175 billion committed to ICE through the One Big Beautiful Bill. I don't think they're going to burn that on amnesty.
As Bad Moon would say, wahoo.
Yeah. We got a fun video from Los Angeles. This ICE raid that took place in Los Angeles was really, really funny. It's running around. It's a nice one, so we'll play that. Karen Bass melting down about it. We've got that update on Planned Parenthood. and their fears over the one big beautiful bill. We have that. We've got an update on the Trump tariffs, and also an update. Remember the hog judge from Milwaukee, Judge Dugan, the great white whale of Milwaukee, Wisconsin? You know, who she was, illegal aliens go free. The hog judge, she almost ate the illegal alien, but instead she let the illegal alien go free, Lopez style. Well, there's an update on her case as well. Before we get to all that, I want to get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. If you're watching over on Rumble at the repost button, same thing on X, repost it on your pages. Let's get a big old party in here. Appreciate all you guys and gals who are watching right now. No matter where you're watching, make sure you share, make sure you like, throw some stuff in the chat. We greatly appreciate it. Folks, OFP Farms, break out the holiday cheer. OFP Farms just decked the Star-Spangled Halls with their Christmas in July sale. Use your code SHAWN, SHAWN, to save 35% off of things like the We the People soap. You could save 35% off while roasting chestnuts on a beach bonfire as the sun sizzles. Revel in the joy and the beautiful smell of the not quite season with naturally fabulous goat milk and tallow products. Check it out at ofpfarms.com and check out this awesome video telling you all about the 35% off Christmas in July sale at OFP Farms.
Hey, y'all. Celebrate Christmas in July with a sale from OFP Farms. Goat milk soap so creamy you'd think the goats were bottling pure American spirit. Even Uncle Sam can't help but tip his hat at the scent of freedom. Don't wait. Deck your Star-Spangled Halls now with 35% off. Stock up on our rich patriotic goat milk soaps, lotions, and lip balms. Or treat someone special with one of our famous gift sets. Because this sale ensures that you'll be sparkling brighter than the fireworks on the 4th. So, saddle up and treat yourself to a sudsy salute to the red, white, and bleat. Visit OFP Farms, where every wash is a celebration of American grit and goat glamour. Yeehaw.
Use code Sean to celebrate as, we don't know who the mystery voice is. The red, white, and bleat. Celebrate the red, white, and bleat at OFPfarms.com. Promo code Sean, 35% off. OFPfarms.com. Promo code SHAWN for 35% off during this Christmas in July sale. All right. We are going to get into this amnesty thing. Brooke Rollins, I think, is where this is coming from. This is my red line. I did not vote for amnesty. I did not vote for exceptions. We have been saying no exceptions. Now, that does not mean I want farms to be the raid sites and the priority, right? Don't get it twisted. What I'm saying, of course, is worst first, like we've always said, right? Start with the worst of the worst. Get the violent criminal. Do I think farm workers who are keeping to themselves, happen to be here illegally, aren't really causing a problem for anybody? Do I think those people should be deported before gang members? No. All right. Triage is important. Prioritizing is important. But if we're going to start hearing about, as Charlie Kirk said yesterday, a concerted effort, a push at the high level to lobby Donald Trump into accepting some sort of amnesty deal for illegal aliens, no, that's not what anybody voted for. Nobody voted for. Did anybody in the chat vote for amnesty? Did anybody in the chat vote for amnesty?
Bueller.
Anybody in the chat? When you filled out your ballot, you were thinking of mass deportations. Did you see the asterisk? And I think Trump understands this, by the way. I don't think any of us anticipated. Well, not that we didn't. There was a push in the first term as well regarding amnesty, but I don't think that we are actually going to see it. So we will get to all of that as well in just a second. I'll play the clip. And by the way, it's not just rumors, though. Donald Trump said something at a rally recently, and sometimes he does this. He'll float a trial balloon. Look at this. Everybody in the chat saying, no, we did not vote for amnesty. Look at that. Nobody voted for amnesty. Okay? It's a dead deal, as Bad Moon says. It's not a good deal. It's a dead deal. Okay? Sometimes Trump will float the trial balloon and see how the base reacts. This is one trial balloon that's going to get shot down very quickly. And it's up to us to make sure, just like we did when ICE got the guidance and all that. Now, there is something that Trump said at the rally in Iowa that is more encouraging than just, instructing ICE to do certain things. So we're going to get to all that in just a second. I want to get to a word from our friends over at Patriot Mobile. It's patriotmobile.com/Farish, F-A-R-A-S-H, patriotmobile.com/Farish. Ladies and gentlemen, look, it's one of those amazing companies of the parallel economy. Realize that there's many choices when it comes to who you can choose for your cell phone service, and there are new ones popping up all the time. But here's the truth. There's only one that boldly stands in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is worth fighting for, and that is Patriot Mobile. Not only are they leading the way in the red economy, but Patriot Mobile also outgains the competition when it comes to technology. Patriot Mobile is one of the only carriers with access to all three major U.S. networks. That means exceptional nationwide coverage along with the ability to have multiple numbers on different networks on a single smartphone. It's a game changer, folks. Think about that. They also offer unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, internet backup, and so much more. Switching right now is easier than it has ever been. You can activate your plan and your phone in minutes from the comfort of your home. Keep your number, keep your phone, or even upgrade your phone. It is time to make the switch to Patriot Mobile today. Go to patriotmobile.com/Farish, F-A-R-A-S-H, or call 972-PATRIOT and use promo code Farish, F-A-R-A-S-H, for an entire free month of service. That is patriotmobile.com/Farish, F-A-R-A-S-H, or call 972-PATRIOT. That is patriotmobile.com/Farish, F-A-R-A-S-H, or 972-PATRIOT. Make the switch to Patriot Mobile today. All right. Here we go. I want to show you this clip from Donald Trump at the rally in Iowa. And it's not something that I'm happy to play, but in fairness, and we obviously want to give you the truth and give you what's happening. This is what he said. I believe it was, July 3rd? Was it? Yeah, because he wasn't at a rally on the 4th. He had the White House thing. This was July 3rd. This was last week. And he floated this idea, which to me, no doubt, comes from Brooke Rollins. I can't stand her. I want her fired. While we're getting rid of Bondi, because I can't stand Bondi. And her, apparently she's going to have a press conference today. And she's going to make remarks today. I'm just assuming that everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie at this point. Or at the very worst, a mischaracterization out of ignorance, whatever. But Brooke Rollins, in my opinion, is just as much of a problem. Look, we all voted for mass deportations. We all voted for getting every illegal alien out of our country, no exceptions. That, again, does not mean I want ICE to prioritize raiding a restaurant over getting gang members out of our country. No, that's not what I'm saying. And I don't want anybody to get twisted. I'm all about worst first, as long as we do rest next. Get it? Get the violent criminals out, but don't tell me you're only stopping with the violent criminals. Don't tell me you're only stopping with the violent criminals. You better be going after everybody else who has stolen a job, undercut labor, broke into this country illegally, no exceptions. I don't care if they're on a farm. I don't care if they're at a meatpacking plant. I don't care if they're in a restaurant. I don't care if they're in a hotel. I don't care where they are. If they came into this country illegally, they have to leave, period. End of story. We are not making exceptions for people who are breaking the law. However, it sounds like a trial balloon is going up to do just that. Listen to, again, this is not a commentator. This is not some fake news, article. This is not an anonymous source. This is Donald Trump saying these things. Listen to this.
Tom Homan. And we're working on legislation right now. Susie, right? We're working on legislation right now where farmers, look, they know better. They work with them for years. You had cases where, not here, but just even over the years, where people have worked on a farm for 14, 15 years, and they get thrown out pretty viciously. And We can't do it. We got to work with the farmers and people that have hotels and leisure properties too. We're going to work with them, and we're going to work very strong and smart. And we're going to put you in charge. We're going to make you responsible. And I think that that's going to make a lot of people happy. Now, serious radical right people, who I also happen to like a lot, they may not be quite as happy, but they'll understand, won't they? Do you think so? Madam Secretary, look at you with a white hat on. Do you think they'll understand that? You're the one that brought...
Serious radical right people, huh? So now not wanting deportations is a radical... I'm sorry, now not wanting exceptions is a radical right issue? Did I hear that correctly? Maybe it is a radical right issue. Maybe it is. But isn't that an issue that was a staple of the campaign? Deporting the illegals. Mass deportations. I didn't see the asterisk. Now, the one thing I'm going to say, and the only reason why I'm not 5-alarm fire over this, I'm concerned. But A, panicking is never that's never the answer, right? We've learned that throughout the last couple of weeks, if not the last couple of years. But Donald Trump said that he was going to support legislation that would do this, correct? You heard that? He said we're working on legislation. He spoke about it. He referenced, obviously, Madam Secretary. That's Brooke Rollins, who, I can't stand her. I cannot stand her. The good news here is that multiple Republican members of Congress, this is coming from Eric Doherty, and it's being reported by more than just him, but he seems to be, he's very trustworthy. Multiple Republican members of Congress, including Senator Eric Schmidt of Missouri, Congressman Randy Fine, tends to be a little more moderate, of Florida, immediately come out against mass amnesty for illegal aliens following Charlie Kirk's report that D.C. forces are pushing Trump in favor of it. Randy Fine says, hard pass, deport them all. Eric Schmidt says, my offer is this, nothing. Mike Lee has come out and said it. The House Judiciary GOP ex-account has come out and said it. I don't know if there's enough support, specifically on the Republican side of the aisle, to move that legislation through both chambers. And I think people like Ted Cruz would have no choice but to oppose it, right? He's in a border state. I think Rick Scott and Senator, I think is Moody from Florida, they're going to have no choice but to oppose it. Alligator Alcatraz is in their state. Now, you could say, well, what if a bunch of Democrats support it? Well, that should tell you everything you need to know off the top. But there should, under no circumstances, should there be any sort of amnesty in this country. None. I don't care what the farmers say. I don't care what look, OFP Farms doesn't employ illegals. If they did, they may be able to make their soap at a lower cost and offer it to the market at a lower price, but they do it the right way. Are we listening to them? No. We're listening to people that Brooke Rollins is... We're listening to those people where she's under the table like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kevin McCarthy with big ag, right? If you take away my illegal immigrants, who's going to run my farm? How about Americans? Gosh, I cannot stand Brooke Rollins. I cannot stand. Ever since she said, pay no attention to the grifters and the fake news. It's not fake news. We knew exactly what you people were pushing. And this is all her. She is owned by the big ag lobby. Owned by them. It's going to get people hurt. Whether it's violent crime like Molly Tibbetts, or people aren't going to be able to get jobs because they're demanding a higher wage, a fair wage. People are going to get hurt. That's the biggest problem here. They want their cheap labor. Big ag wants their cheap labor. And Brooke Rollins is carrying all the water for them. And you heard Trump in the clip. Oh, Madam Secretary, you look good in that hat. Don't look good to me. Does not look good to any of us. Listen, if you came into this country illegally, you broke the law, day one, you have to leave. Period. I don't care if you're working on a farm for 15 years and you're not a problem. The root of your existence in this country was breaking the law. That's it. Out. I'm not saying you got to go before Tren de Aragua. People, because the internet's a crazy place, go, wow. You're saying that person should go at the same time? No. I'm saying worst first. That's clearly not the worst. But they still should go, and those employers should be fined. It is time to enforce the freaking law in our country. I'm tired of the exceptions. Just because you broke and entered into my house, but you didn't eat anything out of the fridge, doesn't mean you get to stay. Just because you broke and entered into the country and worked on a farm for 14 years and to the rest of the world, you're not a problem. No, you're still a problem. You have taken a job away from an American who can't find a job, can't earn that fair wage because you came in illegally and you're now willfully being exploited by whoever you're working for, taking that job away from an American citizen or a legal resident. No exceptions means no exceptions. Start with the worst first. I'm not telling you I want the farm workers to be deported before Tren de Aragua and MS-13. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when we're done with the majority of Tren de Aragua and MS-13 and we're working our way down the list, just because somebody works on a farm does not mean you skip over them. I don't care what Brooke Rollins says and what her friends in Big Ag say. I don't care about them. I care about Americans who are getting ripped off and hurt by these people. No exceptions. No amnesty. None. Now, I think Donald Trump is smart enough to understand that this would be a lot of people's red line. I think he's smart enough to realize that. And I think the fact that he's going down the legislative path, I think offers the House Republican Party and gives us some power to sit there and call these reps and say, you do not vote for amnesty. You do not vote for amnesty. I don't think it has enough support to pass both chambers. I don't. So we'll see where that goes. All right. Speaking of, and by the way, $175 billion was just committed to ICE in the one big beautiful bill. Does it make any sense to now do an amnesty thing? So to me, I'm not saying I think this is imminent. And I'm not saying I think this is something that I think Donald Trump is going to follow through with. He could just be posturing and kind of trying to appease the Big Ag people and say, look, I'm trying, but it's just, I can't get the votes, to kind of pacify them. I don't think this is something that he actually wants to do. I think he knows the base would revolt over this. This is a lot of people's red line. It's my red line. This is a lot of people's red line. Okay? I'm not saying this is imminent and that Trump is failing or that we're being... No, that's not... So I don't want anybody to think that that's what I'm doing here. I'm saying we heard a rumor yesterday. This is not the first time we've seen something like this come up. He was just hanging out with Brooke Rollins, who's clearly a problem in this administration. It's, in my opinion, that's exactly where it's coming from. And so we hear the rumor and we express that we are not okay. We are not okay in any way, shape, or form with going down that road with amnesty. And that's the purpose of what I'm trying to do here. Now, I want to go to some fun stuff because this is Los Angeles. This is Lopez getting chased across the field. This is really, ay. Here it comes. Here comes La Cucaracha out there in Los Angeles. Watch this ICE raid that took place yesterday in Los Angeles. Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, was big mad over it. Watch this. You see them in the field? There they go. Now, this looks to be sped up because I don't think these guys are walking.
They're just walking real fast.
They're walking fast. Look at that guy. Look at the camera guy. Oh, yeah. You got the horses, right? You see the horses? There you go. They went through MacArthur Park in Los Angeles. And Karen Bass is, she came out and said it was all angry and upset about it. And, this is the story of a girl here. Here's what Karen Bass had to say about that in a pretty candid setting. And then we'll play a video of her at a press conference. Watch this.
I am going to say.
Mayor Bass, I need to get my phone and we're departing.
Okay. Mayor Bass?
Mayor Bass.
Oh my
Any
God.
comment, Mayor Bass?
Thank you.
Mayor Bass, any comment?
Yes, my comment is they need to leave, and they need to leave right now. They need to leave because this is unacceptable.
Is she talking about ICE or is she talking about the illegals? They need to leave, and they need to leave right now because this is unacceptable. She's talking about ICE.
Just wait and see.
Mayor Bass,
They will be leaving soon.
Mayor Bass, who did you speak with on the phone just now? Who did you speak with on the phone?
I had a custom.
Wow.
All right, so there it is. There's Karen Bass. Now here she is at a press conference spouting off some ridiculous crap about that whole, Look, here's my thing about Karen Bass. She doesn't want ICE in her city. What do I say about that? If you don't want ICE in your city, don't give ICE a reason to visit your city, right? Is that fair? I'd say that's fair. If you don't want ICE in your city, don't give ICE a reason to visit your city. In other words, don't be a sanctuary city. You get it? If you don't want ICE to show up there, how about you don't harbor and hide and give sanctuary to the people who ICE is pursuing? Here she is at a press conference, all hot and bothered about what ICE is doing in Los Angeles.
Absolutely, as soon as they stop marching troops that disrupt our kids in parks. Yes. And then Pete, I mean, there's conversations that happen in public, and then there's other conversations too. What did you say?
This was not, since you said nobody was arrested, and I didn't able to determine if anybody was arrested or not. This looked purely like it was reconnaissance. They were all through the area.
You don't need troops to do that. And by the way, how about using undercover folks or drones? They really needed to use all of that military equipment as reconnaissance?
Yeah, do you think it was just a dog and pony show?
Well, I call it a political stunt. If you want to call it a dog and pony show, go right ahead. Same thing.
With this going on for more than a month now, are you starting to feel like you're not even in control of the situation, or is there a feeling of helplessness?
No, I will never feel helpless, and I don't think anybody here feels helpless. That's not in our DNA. We're going to continue fighting.
Summer of resistance. NRC started the summer.
Mayor Bass, he's calling for you to get used to it. What is your...
I'm not going to get used to it. I'm not going to get used to it because last I checked, I was elected to be mayor of the city. That did not include a federal takeover. So either you believe in democracy or you don't.
Did he say those words to you on the phone?
Did he say what? To get used to it? No.
You're saying that happened in a later conversation.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't talk to me the way he talked to you. I think he knows better.
Oh, all right. Okay. Give me a break. Give me a break. Now, this Karen Bass is a tough talker. This is the person who was in Uganda, be kidding me, when Los Angeles was on fire. This was somebody who, pushed the propaganda that the riots that happened in Los Angeles were actually peaceful and were under control until Donald Trump got involved. She's a left-wing propagandist. We know all of this, right? So, but the point is to show you, how dug in these leftists are over the issue of illegal aliens. Again, which is why I say no amnesty. There is nothing that would make liberals happier than if even a slice of the millions of illegal aliens that came into our country were given amnesty and a path to citizenship in this country. Nothing. And if it makes the left happy, it makes me very mad. Okay? Period. Right? I mean, I hate to have that I'm 100% opposed to whatever they say. But at this point, it's like that's the way it is with the left. With the exception of 2 + 2 is 4 and water being wet, the sky being blue, and the grass being green. I am 100% against, and I question 1,000% of what the left says. And we know for a fact they want these illegals to stay. And I certainly don't want to be one of the reasons why we help them out and help them stay. I know that makes sense. All right. Here is a familiar face, by the way. Somebody you might have heard of. Some guy, is pretty popular fellow here on LFA TV. Jeremy Harrell with a word from our sponsors at Pure Health.
Hey guys, what's going on? I got an incredible offer here for you from Pure Health Research. This is going to blow your mind. Look, I know so many people out there, especially as we get older, we want to drop a few pounds. We lose a little energy. We lose a little testosterone. We lose a little, estrogen. We just lose as we get older. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to gain, and this message is just for you. Pure Health Research is on a mission to what? Make America healthy again. They are aligned with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s mission, and I'm aligned with that. Their two best-selling health supplements right now that are leading the way is the Liver Health Formula. Over 100 million Americans are sluggish because of a liver that is riddled with fatty deposits. This can kill your metabolism, pile on pounds, make you feel tired, all that. Liver Health Formula will take care of that. It supports your liver health with special nutrients like artichoke extract and milk thistle. This is one of the easiest ways to slim down. Next is the lymph system support. If you struggle with fluid buildup or swelling in your legs, ankles, been there, done that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this one's going to be for you. The natural ingredient in the lymph system formula helps gently flush extra fluids and toxins out of the body. Right now, you can get a limited time offer, 35% off right now. 35% off by going to purehealthresearch.com and using promo code LFA. That's Pure Health Research right now. Use promo code LFA and you'll get 35% off targeted products. I need something for this. I need something for that. They got it. And I want you to check out their reviews online. They are through the roof. purehealthresearch.com. Promo code LFA.
PureHealthResearch.com, promo code LFA. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Pure Health, being a part of the show. We're going to get to there's a shock ruling that came out yesterday, and some people had questions about it. Isn't the Supreme Court saying that the lower district courts can't do this? We're going to get to that. Also, an update on Trump's tariffs, which are set to take place or set to go back into effect on a number of countries August 1st. So we will get to all of that as well. Because I'm not thrilled about this one big beautiful bill ruling, what a judge said because of the impact that it's having on Planned Parenthood. But this is not the end of the world. So we will get to that in just a second. Before we do that, I would like to tell you all about MyPatriotSupply.com, MyPatriotSupply.com/ Ungoverned. MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. Right here, MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. Independence Day sale. Independence Day. You got to love Independence Day, the Independence Day sale. Look, the headlines are getting wilder by the minute. We've got an unstable situation in the Middle East, reports of sleeper cells in the United States, the looming threat of nuclear proliferation. Nobody knows what's coming next, but one thing is clear. When a crisis hits, it is too late to prepare. That's the whole point of being prepared, right? To be prepared before the crisis. There's no such thing as being post-paired, right? Prepare for the crisis. That's why I want you to take a look at the Independence Day bundle at MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. This includes a massive 1-year emergency food supply with a 25-year shelf life. 25-year shelf life. Gotta love it. 1-year emergency food supply. And right now, because of the wonderful promotion that's going on at MyPatriotSupply.com, they're throwing in over $1,200 in free survival gear right along with it. Talking a full year of food, solar backup power, water filtration, everything you need to ride out whatever may be coming with lightning fast free shipping. Check out the bundle now at MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. That is MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. This is more than just a great deal. Nobody knows deals like I know, right? We have great deals. We know deals. We do deals very well. It's more than just a great deal, but it also might be your last best chance to get your house in order. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned, MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. That's MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. One of the best ways to support the show, give our sponsors some love. MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. Okay. So, the one big beautiful bill defunds Planned Parenthood by about $1 billion. $1 billion. The one big beautiful bill. Okay. Planned Parenthood says that 200. This is so sad. Does anybody feel bad, by the way, for Planned Parenthood? Anybody? You guys feel bad that an abortion clinic like Planned Parenthood, because that's exactly, what they are. Is anybody upset with hearing the news that 200 Planned Parenthood clinics may be forced to close because of the One Big Beautiful Bill? Anybody? Yeah, I see a lot of people in the chat saying, no, we're not upset with that, right? Over on Rumble, we see it on the Cool Kids table, home base over on Rumble, right? Look at that. Over on X, I see a lot of people on X with F Amnesty. I love that. Secretary Rollins just announced no amnesty. Rapper Gum 40850. If you're Gum Rapper over on X, and I'm not trying to make light of your name, can you do me a favor and post it in our live chat, or for that matter, anybody in our live chat mention or post that there's where we're hearing that there's not going to be amnesty? Okay, here we go. She says here, I found it. Brooke Rollins says, Agricultural Secretary Rollins on Trump's plan to slow illegal farm workers' deportation. There will be no amnesty. The mass deportations continue, but in a strategic way. Okay. Okay. All right. Listen, look, as long as there's no amnesty and as long as there's no permanent exemptions for these people working in those industries, I don't have a problem with strategic deportations. I don't. I don't. Right? I don't have an issue with worst first, as long as rest next. Would you guys like to see the Brooke Rollins post? I would imagine people would probably want to see that, right? Sure. Would you guys like to see the Brooke Rollins post that we're talking about? I'm going to play it for you, all right? Here we go. I'm going to put this up on your screen. Little bootleg. I got to bring it off of X. I'm not going to be able to download it in time, but here you go. We'll put the Brooke Rollins video up here, and we'll play this for you, okay? Here you go.
Are under Secretary Chavez DeRimmer. She has been working around the clock with her team. I think we'll probably hear a little bit more about this today, and the conversations will continue. But I can't underscore enough, there will be no amnesty. The mass deportations continue, but in a strategic way, and we move the workforce towards automation and 100% American participation, which again, with 34 million people, able-bodied adults on Medicaid, we should be able to do that fairly quickly. Thank you.
Okay, no problem with anything she said there. I don't like her, I don't trust her, but I don't have a problem with anything she said.
She's giving Kathy Hochul vibes, isn't
she does kind of have that bucktooth Botox bandit vibe, doesn't she? Right?
She does.
But Kathy Hochul rarely says good things. Okay? You know what, I liked what I heard, because clearly she's been talking to these big ag companies, right? And I'm sure the big ag companies' argument for not losing these workers is the cost of doing business. When you replace them with Americans, yes, your cost of doing business is going to go up because you have to pay a fair wage. She mentioned automation. That's not great for American workers on the farms. Okay? It's not great. However, first of all, only the biggest of the big companies that aren't employing many Americans right now anyway are going to go to automation because they're going to be the only ones that can afford it, number one. Number two is, at least it sounds like what she said, no amnesty. Now, I don't necessarily take everything she says and trust her, but she's on the record now saying no amnesty, which is good. This is a good thing. So we'll continue to monitor that. Like I said, she just announced no amnesty. We're going to be fair. I got to be fair. She didn't come out and say amnesty exceptions, or she said no. All right. So I have no problem with strategic deportations. I have no problem with strategic deportations. And by the way, I got to find out who posted this on X that I grabbed that from. I want to give a shout out. Captain Longboarder over on X in the live chat. Drop that link to disclose.tv. Okay? So thank you for that. Appreciate you giving us that real-time link there. It's important. So we'll be fair. I still don't like her. I didn't like the whole grifter thing that she said a month ago. However, that's an encouraging thing to hear. As long as there's no amnesty, and strategic deportation is fine, worst first. Again, the gang members should be prioritized. The murderers, the rapists, the drug traffickers, the human smugglers, the folks like that are coming in. I want them out before anybody on a farm, unless the people on the farm are also these drug dealers. But I don't want the deportations to stop after we get those people out. That's the point. All right, one big, beautiful bill. 200 Planned Parenthood locations may be forced to close, which is interesting, right? Because, if you're a taxpayer, if you can't exist without the taxpayer, then the federal government should absolutely have authority over your organization, right? Because you're taking federal funds, you're taking taxpayer funds. Now, here's the problem with something that just happened with this Planned Parenthood situation. They're announcing 200 locations are going to have to close. Okay? Here, according to Breitbart, it's a move that appears to have the abortion giant scrambling, as it's nearly 600 centers will be blocked from receiving Medicaid reimbursements for the 1 year the provision is in effect. For perspective, Planned Parenthood received $792.2 billion in taxpayer funding between 2023 and 2024, according to the organization's most recent report. In response to the passage of the budget reconciliation bill, the organization claimed that the defunding provision could result in nearly 200 Planned Parenthood locations in 24 states becoming at risk of closure, with 90% of those closures occurring in states where abortion is still legal. The reconciliation bill is a targeted attack on Planned Parenthood health centers and patients that cannot stand, they say. Everyone deserves access to high-quality, affordable health care. That is what we've been fighting for the last century. No. It's not about health care. It's about abortion. And we'll never stop. We'll be suing the Trump administration to stop this unlawful attack. See you in court, said Alexis McGill Johnson, president and CEO of Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Now, the head of Planned Parenthood mentioned that they would be suing the Trump administration. And we just found out that an Obama judge, they went judge shopping. They did this in Boston, has issued a temporary restraining order against the administration in response to the provision that defunds Planned Parenthood and could force the 200 locations that were referenced in the previous piece to close. Now, I know a lot of people's question is, wait, I thought nationwide injunctions were gone. Well, remember last week when we talked about it, nationwide injunctions are not gone. The ruling from the Supreme Court last week was that remember the example I used, if Brennan was an illegal alien, right, and she wanted to contest her deportation, she can contest her deportation and she can sue. And if she is granted relief, only she is entitled to that relief. Okay? Understand what I'm saying? So if Brennan's about to get deported, and Brennan says, no one to leave, man, and she sues and says, my due process rights have been violated, a judge can rule that Brennan can stay in the country and can get relief, but that the relief applied to Brennan does not apply to the entire country altogether, right? Mm-hmm. In this case, I hate to say it, but This case is exactly the same thing as the example that I just cited. Planned Parenthood, while they judge shopped, and we can argue the tactics here and how, corrupt that is and how slimy that is. But it was Planned Parenthood who sued the Trump administration, and Planned Parenthood was given temporary relief. Okay? U.S. District Judge Indira Talwani, an Obama appointee, issued a temporary restraining order and set a preliminary injunction hearing for July 21st. So Planned Parenthood sued the Trump administration over this provision, and Planned Parenthood was given the relief. So this is not a violation of what the Supreme Court ruled on last week. Now, Planned Parenthood sued the administration over the funding cuts written into the newly passed reconciliation bill, the One Big Beautiful Bill. The House passed the Big Beautiful Bill last week, and Trump signed it on July 4th at the White House. Planned Parenthood sued the Trump administration over the Big Beautiful Bill defunding its healthcare services, arguing the provision will have devastating consequences across the country. The law does not explicitly mention Planned Parenthood. The nationwide family planning and healthcare provider is in its crosshairs. The law prohibits federal funding for providers, quote, primarily engaged in family planning services, reproductive health, and related medical care that also provides abortion. Planned Parenthood has warned that nearly 200 clinics nationwide, which also provide birth control, STI testing and treatment, and cancer screening, could close as a result of the bill's one-year ban on funds. So, unfortunately, this temporary restraining order, you can't ignore it yet, okay? It's not one of those things where they're violating Supreme Court precedent. It sucks. I don't like it, but it's not in violation of what the Supreme Court ruled last week, okay? It's not in violation of what the Supreme Court ruled last week, and I think they are suing under equal protection statutes and whatnot. We'll see where it goes. Congress has the power of the purse. Congress has the ability to withhold this type of funding. So I'm not sure how long this is going to hold up, but I did want to point out that this is not a violation of what the Supreme Court ruled on last week when Amy Coney Barrett went off the top rope, dropped an elbow, the people's elbow, on Ketanji Brown Jackson. So just don't get it confused with that. I got it confused last night till I did a little digging. I thought the Supreme Court said they couldn't do this. And as it turns out, this is exactly how the ruling was supposed to play out. Planned Parenthood sued. Planned Parenthood got relief, right? And so what can't happen is if there was another major abortion center that was being defunded, the injunction can't apply to everybody sweeping across the country. It'll only apply narrowly to Planned Parenthood, which is exactly what happened here. So I just wanted to clear that up because I know there were a lot of questions about that. I had questions. I misunderstood the ruling until I researched it a little bit last night as well. Okay.
I always find the name Planned Parenthood to be silly.
Because they're not planning Parenthood.
Unplanned Parenthood.
Yeah, they're not planning Parenthood at all.
No, it was an unplanned.
They're planning.
Situation.
They're planning. What you're planning at Planned Parenthood is how to end your parenthood.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep, I find that funny.
And here's the problem, right? We went from abortion being safe, legal, and rare to abortion being used as birth control.
Yeah.
And that is just unacceptable. Mm-hmm. It's unacceptable.
And they don't help women that do want to keep their children. They don't provide diapers.
No.
Or food.
No.
Formula.
They only provide a way to kill the child.
Yeah.
It's wrong. It's wrong. And I think that case is going to wind up playing through the courts and it's going to wind up being all right. But we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. All right. I want to talk to you about our friends over at Silent. Then we have an update on the tariffs, Trump tariffs. Scott Bessent, again, look, this guy, I'm a huge fan of this guy. I know he's gay, whatever, but it's not his whole identity. I didn't even know he was gay until somebody told me, right? That's Scott Bessent. Don't endorse his lifestyle, but I love the job he's doing right now as Treasury Secretary. So we'll get to an update on that. And the Trump tariff letters, which had gone out yesterday to Japan and several other countries. So they say, yakisoba, we don't want no tariff. No tariff, okay. No tariff, yakisoba. Yakisoba. That one made her laugh. All right, let's get to a word from our friends over at Silent. That's slnt.com/Sean. 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 Take a look. This is it. You can take back your privacy with Silent. You know, between the government, big tech, corporate America, and criminals, your privacy is compromised and under attack 24/7. There's no other option. You've got to protect yourself. And that all starts with Silent. You know, these products fascinate me. And the ability to block all incoming and outgoing signals. Now I'm trying to think back. When I was in high school, there was one particular classroom where nobody's cell phones got signals because he hated when kids used it. I bet you he put Faraday stuff up in the ceiling, in the drop ceiling in that high school classroom. Guarantee that's what it was. It blocked everything until you got out of the room. Then all of a sudden you got service again. Clever SOB. Silent's Faraday products block all incoming and outgoing signals so that your devices are invisible and safe from the outside world. From their backpacks, phone sleeves, and even pants. That's right. Faraday pants. Now, just because you're wearing the Faraday pants doesn't mean you're actually invisible. People can still see you. They just can't track you. Okay? Their signal blocking technology blocks wireless signals, giving you peace of mind that your data doesn't end up in the wrong hands. Just place your device inside. Close it up. And that's all you've got to do. You are now safeguarded from unauthorized access. Stops all incoming and outgoing signals. It stops the radiation that comes off of those devices. And it prevents your tracking and hacking. Go silent today at slnt.com/Sean to save 15% and free shipping on qualifying orders. That's silent, slnt.com/Sean, SHAWN, silent.com/Sean for 15% off and free shipping on qualifying orders. That's silent, slnt.com/SHAWN. All right, tariffs are back. I love tariffs. I think it's great. August 1st, for those of you, circle the date on your calendar, okay? Circle the date on your calendar. August 1st. Here we go. Trump tariffs, levying tariffs on imports from Korea, Japan, South Africa. Can we tariff the importation of Elon Musk? I'm only kidding. And additional countries. Okay. Scott Bessent spoke about this. He was being interviewed on one of the media channels. It was CNN or MSNBC. But here's a list of countries that got letters yesterday from the Trump administration regarding an upcoming ratcheting up of tariffs. Please understand that 25% is far less than what is needed to eliminate the trade deficit disparity we have with your country. President Donald Trump released a copy of all these letters on Truth Social, by the way. Number of leaders saying that their imports will be subject to tariffs, including Tunisia, Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, South Africa, Laos, Bosnia, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Serbia, and Myanmar. The president said, we have decided to move forward with you, but only with more balanced and fair trade. Therefore, we invite you to participate in the extraordinary economy of the United States, the number one market in the world by far. The letter went on to say that the trade deficits between the countries and the United States have been caused by tariffs and non-tariff trade barriers with the United States. South Korea, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, Tunisia, Japan will be getting a 25% tariff. And he has said, as we said just a minute or two ago, please understand that 25% is far less than what is needed to eliminate the trade deficit disparity that we have with your country. Here is what Scott Bessent said about this potential restarting of those tariffs on those, 10 to 12 countries. Here is what Scott Bessent said yesterday. I fully support it. I love this posturing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens on August 1st.
Let's talk about tariffs. President Trump gave countries a 90-day pause on the sweeping tariffs he put in place back in April. That pause ends in 3 days. What happens on Wednesday?
We'll see. I'm not going to give away the playbook because we're going to be very busy over the next 72 hours. President Trump's going to be sending letters to some of our trading partners saying that if you don't move things along, then on August 1st, you will boomerang back to your April 2nd tariff level. So I think we're going to see a lot of deals very quickly. And, Dana, we're going to send out probably 100 letters to small countries where we don't have very much trade. And most of those are already at the baseline 10%.
Well, you said August 1st. Do you mean what's going to happen in August?
So the countries will get a letter saying that if we have not reached an agreement, then you will go back to the April 2nd level.
Starting when? On August 1st?
On August 1st.
Okay, so there's basically a new deadline.
It's not a new deadline. We are saying this is when it's happening. If you want to speed things up, have at it. If you want to go back to the old rate, that's your choice.
All right, so there is Scott Bessent explaining August 1st. It's not a deadline. Your tariffs are getting hiked on August 1st. Circle the date on your calendar, because if this is something that is followed through on, if Japan and South Korea are still on this list, I do think you're going to see a little bit of uncertainty in the market. And for those who watched what happened in early April and maybe want another buying opportunity, perhaps, not financial advice, perhaps that could be another one of those opportunities for you. So circle the date on the calendar. You heard Bessent. And he's not telegraphing too much, but saying they're going to snap right back. Those tariffs are going to come right back. All right, finally, the hog judge. Remember the hog judge? And we play this a lot for the hog judge. Nobody's above the law, right? Nobody's above the law. The rooster is back. They've come to snuff the rooster, right? Alice in Chains all over the place. Here we go. Judge Dugan, the hog judge who almost ate the illegal alien, was trying to claim judicial immunity in her case that alleged that she helped an illegal alien evade arrest. A magistrate judge came out and said, no, sorry, that ain't going to happen. You cannot claim immunity, judicial immunity. You were not immune, and there will be no dismissal on those grounds. Federal magistrate judge on Monday yesterday said Milwaukee County hog. I added hog. It's not what it says on the Gateway Pundit. Judge Hannah Dugan is not entitled to dismiss her federal case on a judicial immunity claim. Dugan moves to dismiss the indictment under Federal R Criminal P12 Section B on the grounds that she, as a judge, is immune from criminal prosecution for judicial acts, that her prosecution violates the limits of federal power under the 10th Amendment, and that the indictment could be dismissed under the canon of constitutional avoidance. For the reasons explained below, I recommend that Dugan's motion to dismiss be denied. Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan, moved to dismiss the case in her one day after a federal grand jury indicted her on 2 counts for obstructing an ICE arrest. Dugan is facing up to 6 years in prison and a $350,000 fine. Dugan says, I'm above the law, and the rooster says... There you go. Nobody's above the law. We do love our rooster, don't we? That's one of my favorite elements of the show. This nobody's above the law rooster. This officer rooster right there that you see. So the hog judge, that motion to dismiss her case has been denied, and we will see what happens going forward in her case. By the way, any update on Letitia James? Is she ever going to be... Let me guess, Pam Bondi has that file on her desk too. What a scam she is. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening. Jeremy Harrell, Live from America, coming up next. You know, we have that ARC trip that is that meetup that's coming up in a couple of weeks here in July. Just 2 weeks away. But I want you to take a look at the LFA TV store. Grab some LFA TV merch before that ARC meetup. As you will see, click on that LFA TV store. Lots to offer there. And look, rise up at the ARC Encounter. You can get all the event information at LFATV.us. Again, click on that store tab. Rock out with your LFA TV merch at the ARC in late July in Kentucky. Jeremy Harrell coming up next, of course, with Live from America. Please visit the website, LFATV.us. Check out that store. Jeremy coming up next with Live from America for the next 2 hours. As President Trump would say, we will never give up. We will never give in. And we will never ever surrender. And if all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Got a surprise coming for you later this week. Ooh. A guest that you guys have wanted to see. We're going to record that interview today. It'll be awesome. I promise. In the words of John Fetterman, good night, everybody. Bang, gavel. We'll see you tomorrow morning. And as always, thank you for your attention to this matter.